Hello, my name is Miranda Penland, and I will be talking about moral relativism. Moral relativism demands can apply to a different person if it's rational, if they accept the demand. It also can rationalize for different people accepting the demand, and different morals can demand to different people. Moral relativism can be used for the philosophical position that deals with differences of moral judgment on different people with their cultures. I will be talking about 3 points that relate to moral relativism. The first one will be in Hidden Worldview, page 96, that states, moral relativism permits anything it tells us what is allowable, but cannot tell us what we should be and should do. Some variations on relativism tells us what we should not be. In this way, it cannot keep us from being evil. So in that statement, keep us from being evil, in my biblical worldview, I think of what would Jesus do? So if I'm going out and doing something evil, then I need to stop myself and think God is in control and he knows what to do with the situation. We need to stay away from evil because God cannot be around evil. He cannot permit. So when we think, okay, moral relativism, we need to stay away from evil. Another point that I want to point out is in a movie that's called Pirates of the Caribbean, called Curse of the Black Pearl. Jack Sparrow is talking to Will Smith on the boat, and he states this statement: the only rule that really matters are these: what a man can do and what a man can't do. These rules can restrict what we can observe. Under the sun is permissible. If you have the stomach to do what you need to do it. No good or evil, just can or cannot. But in biblical worldview, we should stop and think before we act. Actions have consequences if you don't think before you do. The last point that I want to talk about is politics. Elizabeth Mann in Moral Relativism on Salem Press Encyclopedia states, moral relativism can be confused between the word relativism has ambiguous meaning. When politicians and religious leaders use the term moral relativism, they intend to have a different meaning than philosophers do when they use the term. So we all have different views. One point out that I want to point out is the Cold War. People have different views on it, that the conservatives were in the wrong, and some people have that the liberals were wrong in what they did in the Cold War. William F. Buckley states, what's right for you may not be right for me. So with that saying, we all have different worldviews. We have all different morals that we think is right. And my opinion, I have a biblical worldview. I think of what would Jesus do? What would God handle this? And if somebody did me wrong, I would not go out and get revenge. Even though I want to, we all want to, because somebody did something wrong to us. We'll always remember that. But also, we need to think before we do. We need to stay away from evil, like in Hidden Worldview. So back to my thesis statement. Moral relativism can be used from the philosophical position that deals with difference of moral judgment and different people with their culture. Every culture is different. Every people is different. We're not the same. We're all unique in our doings. So we need to take a minute, step back with the situation, think, what's our next move? Some of us think, okay, we need to get revenge. Some people think, let God handle it. God, in my opinion, can handle things better than we do. Because what we're thinking is evil, and he can't be around evil. But with all 3 of these points that I pointed out, I strongly do agree with Hidden Worldview. Hidden Worldview That book is amazing. It talks about how we need to think before we do. So thank you for listening to me. I hope you learned something. I'll see you on the next one.